And hello, folks. Welcome to my surprise last minute or last minuet live chat. How's it going, folks? Good to see you. Those of you who aren't here yet, it's good to see you in the not too distant future. I'm sure it'll be good to see you once you get here. I'll just wait patiently. That glare is going to bother me. Hang on, just there. That's better. There was a little background glare from the backlighting. As long as I don't knock down my backing, that would be very embarrassing. But anyway, oh, look who's here. Lance says, hiya, Thrash. Lance Jafin, virtually always the first person here. And welcome to the party. Shunninist is here and says, good evening, Thrash, and a good evening to you as well, by the way. Keithy is here, says, ugly weather could be headed your way. Oh, trust me. We just moved some of the furniture, the deck furniture and whatnot, in such a way that it won't blow through the house. We're probably going to be fine. It's for some reason other parts of the state are going to get messed up. We should be okay, knock on Formica, but we have made steps. And a lot of people having fellowship saying hello to one another. And Lindsay said, hit that like button, folks. Thank you. What he said. And let's see. And well, at the moment, we are sufficiently caught up. But we'll see how long that lasts. Daryl Johnson is here. He says, Bob. Daryl, my other brother. So good to see you, by the way. And basically just a general Q&A today. Didn't really have anything planned. Oh, a lot of people saying hello to each other. Didn't want to ignore anyone. Don't have anything planned. One of the things I noticed is Dave did something about well-remembered shows from the good old days, 60s, 70s, 80s, that type of thing. Tell me something, folks. Was there a show from this time period that you really, really loved that was so short-lived nobody else seems to have heard of it? Those are the shows that always kind of get me. Like, for example, back in the 80s, there was this very short-lived show. It was called Otherworld. Family on vacation in Egypt get snookered by this shyster who brings them into a pyramid for money, but then demands more money to be released. And they end up trying to find their own way out and get locked into some kind of temporal system where they get sent to alternate universes, particularly one alternate near Earth reality. Jonathan Banks is the villain in it. Anybody remember this? Or tell me, what short-lived shows did you love that nobody else seems to recall? That'll be a little topic for today. Baked Bean says, yo, 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 everybody. And a yo, yo, yo to you, too, you yo-yo. Ziblik says, is this deja vu all over again? But I'm bumped. Thank you, Yogi Bear. I have deja vu all over again. Michael's Drones is here and says, hello, Thrash. Michael, so glad you could make it, by the way. Welcome to the party. Len says, I watched Red Notice with Ryan Reynolds, Dwayne Johnson, and Gal Gadot. Insane action. I don't see how it couldn't be with that kind of cast. Baked Bean says, Dave Javu. I like that. Dave Javu. And pardon me, I'm a little wheezy today, by the way. I think it might be the pollen count. But anyway, Trader with Myers says, hi, gentlemen and ladies, and a hello to you too. Michaels gives us a thumbs up with double hammers. I'm assuming that's good. A lot of people saying hello to one another. Del Jones says, the one you just mentioned, never heard of it. It came out, I want to say, in 1983, 84. It only lasted, I want to say, about 8 episodes. And effectively, it was The Fugitive with a sci-fi backdrop. Sound familiar? Yes, what happens is each week the family, well, first of all, the alternate Earth is run by this sort of police state, very 1984-esque, but the state is broken, it's balkanized. So what happens is each week they run from one state to another, and the states are completely different. It's almost like sliders. That's how different the different states are. One of them is actually, you find out they're all robots. Another one is a matriarchal society, and so on, and so on. And so each week they're trying to find their way home, that jump that'll bring them back home. And they're also trying to avoid Jonathan Banks, who wants to kill them or at least bring them back to justice. It was a pretty good show, but it didn't last long. And I had such a crush on the daughter in that show. And let's see what else we get going on here. Oh, Gary Carpenter, greetings, chops and chapettes. He says baked bean in the house. And Daryl John says, I don't remember even watching TV in 83 or 84. I did a lot of it, so it's still fresh in my memory. Frozen is here. Frozen says hello. Frozen, welcome to the party. Just a general Q&A tonight, but we're probably going to be talking about short-lived TV series from back in the day that we all remember. Well, or at least that we remember and no one else seems to. What short-lived TV show from back in the day do you recall? Keithy says, hi, Gary Z and everyone else, scientist. It's good. It's moving. Scientist is moving too fast. Well, certainly the chat is. I had to jump 3 times just to stay up with it. Zuplix is saying hi to Frozen. The Life and Set ending is here. Says hello. This is hi specifically. Hi to you too, Steve. Great to see you. Frozen says, please. Frozen says, tell me, please, Priver Russia. I'm not sure what that is, but I'll see what I can do. I'll just see what else there. Lance Chafin is saying hi to Frozen. Keithy says, hello, Steve. I saw you just flash by X. Tracy Rothmeyer says, Robert, love your lighthouse. Yes, we love our lighthouse. That's actually, you can put a tea candle in that lighthouse and actually have it light up. For some reason, the plastic ones don't quite fit. I got a lot of ribbon ones. I got a plastic one, and I actually altered it. I had to like shave off some of the edges so it would fit in there. But now we just leave it as is. Oh, I like this. I like this incense burner too, by the way. It's like something like Doctor Who. Anyway. A lot of people saying hello to one another. Daryl Jones says, or 90s, come to think of it. You did watch TV at some point in your life, right? I know in the 70s you were too busy being in the military. And Baked Bean says, I can't think of an older show. I can't think of an older show that I liked that had a short run. Maybe Nightmare, but I believe that had a couple of seasons. I don't recall Nightmare. Sounds interesting. Please give me a brief synopsis in the comments below. Oh, and Lance says, sorry, Steve, hope things work out. Yes, Steve, commiserations on your recent headaches. Gary Carpenter saying hi to Life. Hi, Life. Hi, Steve. And Zubrlik says, Life, if YouTube demonetizes your channel, what chance does Tug has in light of all his copyrighted material? Yeah, they're actually digging him too, by the way. It's very, very sad. And Tracy says, that's cool too, Robert. Thank you. And Tracy says, Lance, I said hello. Oh, Miss Emily Miller is here. Says, hi, y'all. Emily, hi, y'all to you too. So nice to see you. I hope you're in a better position where you actually get better internet access. And I got to tell you, that joke, I'm actually going to steal that joke right now. Did you hear about the guy who fell out the window of an 18-story building? The club owners determined he was not the bouncer. A lot of people saying hi to Emily. Baked Bean says, it was a children's TV show where a trio guided a blindfolded fourth member through a virtual reality fantasy realm. Oh, that sounds fun, actually. That does sound fun, actually. Daryl Jones says, I watched PBS like This Old House and crap like that. Oh, I remember This Old House. I had an uncle. My Uncle Joel was actually on it a few times. And Emily says, oh, yeah, I'm home now. Excellent. Very, very good. Big Bean says, but Oh, and Tracy says, I love that show, Daryl. And Daryl Jones says he was not a bouncer. Yes, the owners of the club determined he was not a bouncer. And Michael likes that as well. Lynn says, Bob Ross, the joy of painting. I wish I had it here. It's actually in my room. I actually have a mint box with his image on it, and with the mints initially, which I've long since used up, were happy little trees. Now I just put my breath savers in there. Emmer says, I find the weirdest crap to share on Facebook. Glad you liked it. You find amazing stuff on Facebook, and I like it all, by the way. Although, did that post I put up about how if I was your psychiatrist, little exposition here, folks, she had this page where like all her friends were implemented in if she was ever in a mental institution, whoever it would be, and I would have been her psychiatrist. And I suggested the only way that would work if it was sort of a Tales from the Crypt situation where the inmates had taken over the asylum. And for some reason, I when I went back to that page, it wasn't there. I hope it wasn't taken down. I wasn't trying to be offensive. I thought it was funny. And who doesn't love Tales from the Crypt? Brogo's here says, hello, Thrash, and hello to everyone. And Tracy also says to Emily that she too loves her shares. And it says, happy accidents, not mistakes. And Zuplik says, message retracted. And a message retracted to you as well. Gary Carpenter says, I did a lot of 80s TV shows, but I didn't get to see what I wanted to see. Oh, bummer. Shannon says, there was a show with Martin Short called The Associates, I think. It got canceled pretty quick, but I remember hoping it would make it. Yeah, that happened a lot back in the day. You know, very famous Boston comedian Lenny Clark. Lenny Clark. He's probably best known nationwide. He was one of the cops in that John Larroquette show, the one that took place in the bus station. He actually had his own sitcom, and the night it premiered was the night the first Gulf War broke out. So nobody was watching anything other than CNN. So he always attributed that to the fact his show failed. Very sad, very sad. Let's just see. Daryl Jones says, there was a show on PBS with this nun who showed works of art. I like that show. I don't recall that either. Keith says, why could they not get the hippopotamus out of the theater? It was in his blood. Was it Theater of Blood? And Melissa says, I think it's still there. I may have not seen. Sometimes they bury some comments. The older ones get pushed up. Lisa Fields here says, hey, Thrash. Hi, everybody. Not feeling well, but I wanted to say hi. Lisa, I'm so sorry you're not feeling well. Please get some rest and feel better. So nice of you to stop in. Stay as long as you can, but please don't force yourself. If you need to crash, please get some rest. And Brogue was saying hello to everyone. And Lisa saying, hope you feel better too, as is Emily. And Lisa asks, Lance, what's up? And Lance is saying, please get well soon. And I'm skipping down. Cindy D is here. Hello, Cindy D. But her message was retracted. And a message retracted to you too, Cindy D. But so glad you could make it. Zuplik says, I remember that actor, the sidekick police woman, was in Amadeus. Wow, that's a very good memory you got there, Zuplex. Very, very good. I loved Amadeus too, by the way. Very good. Big Bean says, hi, Cindy. Enjoy. Love a burger myself now. And a lot of people saying hi to Cindy D. A lot of people saying they hope Lisa feels better soon. And Danny says, greetings from South Carolina. Greetings to you too, Danny. Here's Cindy D. She says, hello, Lance. Hello, Lisa. Get to feeling better. And hello to Zuberplex. Joe Dunn says, the Cajun Chef with Justin Wilson. That show I do remember. Yeah. And Zuberplex says she played Wolfgang's wife. Oh, I remember the actress. I just don't remember the show, but very good catch. Sean says, Zuplex, I met her. She was also in a horror movie called Funhouse. Oh, I remember Funhouse. I couldn't remember she was in it, but I remember Funhouse. Oh, and Len says The Frugal Gourmet. That's another good one. Emily says, you guys know that I actually auditioned for the Food Network, right? Well, if you don't, I'll tell the story again. Emily says, hey, Danny, did you get any of that big storm that came through? The one that's heading our way? I hope you both survived it very well. Keithy says, my favorite unknown show was called Annie. It was about people working as civil servants. It did not last very long. Yeah, that one I'm not familiar with either. Ozublik says, that's super cool, Sean. She was very attractive. And Brogu is saying hello to Tracy, skipping down. Danny says, yeah, bad storms here, lost internet, that's why I'm late. You're actually really not. We only started about 10 minutes ago. You're really not, but I'm glad you could make it. I'm sorry you had a bad storm. Wish us luck. Zublik says, if Terrell was here, he would tell us her name. Yeah, probably. Or Indy Spoats. And Emily says, Brogu, you can just call her Tracy. We're all friends here. Good point. Yes, good point, Tracy. Or Bubula. I call her Bubula. And Sean says, Superplex, Elizabeth Burge. If I butchered, I'm sorry. I met her working on a film called When the Party is Over. Too cool. And Emily Miller says we supposedly had a couple of tornadoes nearby. We have tornado warnings up here, but they're very, very, very slim and not so much on the Cape Cod side. You know, Cape Cod is everything. There's this side of the canal and the rest of the world. The tornado warnings are on the other side of the canal. And Zublik says I think it's Barridge. Barridge. That sounds Barridge. We'll go with Barridge. And Baked Bean says, when the party is over, the best Christian song. And Zublik says, so Sean, you are an actor. And Sydney says, I like the show It Takes Two with Richard Crenna, Patty Duke, Anthony Edwards, and Helen Hunt. Anybody remember? Great cast. I do. I remember the show. I remember watching it. I can't remember a single plot synopsis, but I do remember it. In fact, I believe either Dave Sundstrom or Dave from Dave's Archives, one of those Daves, actually showed a promo for it on one of their promo packages. But yes, I do remember it. Oh, help me out here. Did he play a college professor? Is that the one we played? Let me know if you played a college professor. Something's vaguely coming back to me. So yes, and let me know if you played a college professor. Sean Innes says, like, yeah, I misspelled it. Oops, it's okay. I read it wrong anyway. Gary Carpenter says, I heard about it on the radio. And Lance Chavin says, thoughts on Demolition Man. Which one? The song of the movie. And a lot of people saying hello. Zublik says, I remember seeing it, Lance, but not much. Daryl Jones says, what's her name? Ruined that movie, Lance. Ooh. Ooh. And Emma Miller says, Gary, we had just left one of the areas in Mooseville that got hit. Oh, lucky break. Pat from the Golden Ranger TV is here. Pat, hey, he says, hey, gang. Pat, it's so great to see you. Oh, and by the way, amazing opportunity your daughter had to go to the Far East, Japan, and Korea. That was absolutely amazing. I'm glad she had an amazing time. It looked like she was very tired when she got home, but I'm very glad she had an amazing time. And a lot of people saying hi to Pat. Daryl saying, what's for dinner? Shannon, this is Zuplex. Nope. I almost went down that road, but I was a camera assistant, production assistant, grip reader, assistant director, etc., etc. So it is written, so it is so, etc., etc. Well, you could have, who knows? You could have been the next great actor. Too bad that we failed to get that opportunity. But I'm glad you had fun meeting actors and actresses. Your pad. Emily Miller says, we got home just before the bottom dropped out. Dan is, of course, giving us links, Golden Ranger TV. Please give links to yourself as well. Michael's Drones and anyone else here who wants to get spotlighted and linked. Pat says, haha, didn't make it to the store, Daryl. I got takeout. Well, that works. And Pat says, yes, thanks, brother Bub. It's so funny. I cut it. You're gonna get a kick out of this. I was watching that post on the sort of that reunion show you did for the General Hospital band, and I'm sorry, CT didn't quite register. And you said highlights for my CT show. I thought you had done a show in Connecticut, and I'm like, how could I have not known he was? If he was in Connecticut, I would have driven there. It's only about 4 hours away from where I live. I would have driven there to go out and see you. So, but then I realized CT was a General Hospital reference. So I almost wrote that up, and I'm like, no, I'm gonna have to speak this one, or it's going to make no sense, or at least not be nearly as funny. Ken Wilkinson is here. He says, "Good evening, Bob." If that was funny at all. Gary Carpenter says, "Thanks for the website." Joe John says, "Well, piss and moan, nothing in the shelves." Oh no, nothing in the shelves. Well, get takeout, delivery. Zublick says, "So Sean, you did everything but actor." But yeah, pretty much, you did everything but be an actor. And I just jumped a little here. And Pat says, "Yes, thanks, brother Bob," to his daughter, having a good time. Very good, very good. And Ken goes on to say, "Good evening, brother Bob," or just "Good evening, Bob." Actually, I think I bounced back a little too far. Ah, yes, that was this I was looking for. And a lot of people saying hello. Lance Gibbons says, "Darrell, Sandra Bullock." Yes, I thought it was Sandra Bullock too. Oh, her long-term partner just died today. Very sad. Lou Gehrig's disease. Tracy says, "I saw the Wham documentary on Netflix, and it was really good." Um, Golden Rages. Pat is laughing. Christian Taylor is CT. Oh yes, I realized that later, but I'm like, oh my god, he was in Connecticut. How could I have not known this? Oh, by the way, if you ever find yourself in Connecticut or New York or pretty much anywhere north of the Mason Dixon on the coast, let me know and I will make sure I'm there. Please. And let's see what else we got going on here. Shanina says, "LOL, thanks, Thrash. I learned a few things about acting, but at the same time, I felt I should be behind the camera. I kind of regret it at times." You could have been both. You could have been like Tarantino. Luke says, "Oh, CT is Kristen Taylor." Yes, Kristen Taylor, you're very good. Oh, Gonzo out there is here. Jenny, please, a link. Says, "Is this where you come to learn about black martial artists?" I'm so embarrassed. Yes, about black martial artists, not black belt martial artists. Yes, that's what we come to learn about, by the way. So please, anyone join in. Thank you, Gonzo. All right. My mother was making fun of me for that earlier on today, too. Pat says, "Sorry, I can't keep up with the hellos, but see you all and love y'all." Trust me, I understand, Pat. And yes, you are very, very well loved, Pat. Here. Well, pretty much everywhere. And he goes on to say, "Sure, I go for the weather." To the northeast? Fatal error. Jonah says, "I acted in the first movie I worked on. It was horrible. The movie. I was basically a featured extra." What was the name of the movie? And let's just see what else we got here. Oh, Keithy says 1 million people in the United States without power. They don't get specific. Oh, yeah, it's all over the place, from Texas to, I think, Indiana. Um, and Pat says, "I've started watching The Boys." Emily says, "Pat, if you enjoy storms, you should move to the East Coast. Tell me about it." Zubik says, "What was the title of the movie, Sean?" Tug says, "Oh, Tug is here. Yay." Tug is here. Says, "I'm here, but just listening while I fold laundry. I probably won't see the chat, but hello and love to you all, even you, Zuper." Tug, you two are very well loved. Hello to Mrs. Tug, and have fun doing laundry. It's so nice when couples get to do stuff together. Emily says, "OMG, Pat, you're going to love The Boys." Les David says, "The director of The Exorcist, William Friedkin, died." Yes, he did. It's so funny because, not funny, it's actually very tragic. But just yesterday, we were talking about Friedkin with To Live and Die in L.A. He directed that as well. Very, very sad. Rest in peace. Oh, Oh, I actually wrote down her name so I would know it for the show, and I'm drawing a blank, and I don't have the paper in front of me. But the lady who played the mother in uh, Night of the Comet, she was also in the movie LA 2017, the one that Mr. Sci-Fi spotlit a while ago. Um, she too has passed on at the age of 82. Rest in peace, please. Tracy says, "Hey Pat, you and Wally kicked some butt. It was great." Pat says, 68 degrees here all week, no humidity. Oh, it's even better. It's 71 degrees here. And Cindy D message retracted. Was that the message where you were telling me if Richard Crenna played a professor in that show we were talking about? It Takes Two. Please do. And Sean this also says message retracted. And Big Bean says the boys is good. Carl does Brit pretty good. And skipping ahead, I think I jumped a little. Here we go. I discovered the screen. I hit it twice. So look, says, really, Lance, big news. He directed The French Connection too. Yes, he certainly did. He certainly did. Daryl Johnson's Doug is out on bail. We don't even kid about that. Pat says, yeah, it gets a bit raunchy, but it's well written. And Lance Griffin says, yes, Zuper, he died. Yes, he did. Very sad. Emily Miller says, I started watching The Boys because Kripke was behind Supernatural, another one of my favorites. Yes, you mentioned Supernatural earlier today. I remember. And Zuper says, thank you, Doug. Beware of YouTube copyrighted. Shannon says, the working title was Whispers of White, but I think it was released as A Walk with Death with Nicolette Galette. I'm sorry, I don't recall any of those titles. We just jumped again, didn't we, drat? It gets even better, Pat, Emily says. And Pat says, my kids love Supernatural. Danny says, yeah, Pat, if you move to the East Coast, you may get a storm once in a while, but you lose the mudslides, forest fires, earthquakes, and the Democrats. Now, we don't talk politics here. We're all friends here on this channel. SNDD says, It Takes Two. Richard Crenna was a doctor, and Patty was a housewife who went back to law school. Okay, yes, I do. I remember one specific episode. I'll tell you why. There's one episode I remember the wife is trying to break up a prostitution ring, and Richard Crenna poses as a John trying to get this one woman off the streets, but he picks the wrong woman and accidentally solicits a undercover cop. And believe it or not, this was a comedy. But but I remember he had a rival doctor who they were both up for a grant, and the rival doctor was like over the moon for this because he thought it meant he was going to be able to get the grant. And I actually remember that from that's gotta be over 30 years ago. That's crazy. But anyway, yes, Cindy, I do remember. Thank you for the plot synopsis. Gary Carpenter says a Supernatural is going to be rebooted. Cool. The Pod Blast is here. Hey, Pod Blast, how you doing? If you guys haven't checked out the Pod Blast on Facebook or YouTube, please do. He's been putting out some incredible material. Danny, please drop a link. He missed the show last night because he forgot that I was doing a special early show. Danny, how was the podcast you ended up going to after the fact, by the way? I had a bit of a headache last night after the show, went to take a lay down and woke up 3 hours later, so I missed it. Hope you had a good time. But Pod Blast, I'm so glad you're here right now. And a lot of people saying hi to Pod Blast. Sorry I'm late. Got stuck on the phone with someone. Was it your mother? Because that's usually what happens to me. Mom, I'm sorry. I'm kidding you. I know you're right downstairs. You can probably hear me. She also watches in on these too, by the way. But it was just a lucky guess if it was. Amy Miller says, Danny, there are a lot of us Democrats here on the East Coast. Now, you see what you started, Dan? You see? And yes, there are. And that's what I'm going to say on the matter. I think we jumped again. Hang on. Oh, wow, we really did jump. Yes, here we go. A lot of people saying hello. Pat says all strong points, Danny. Emily hadn't heard about the reboot. A lot of people saying hello to Chance. Tug says, if I could spend some time in jail, I wouldn't take bail. It would be a nice break. You haven't seen Oz, have you? Shannon says, Fredkin also directed The Exorcist and The Sorcerer with Roy Scheider. And he goes on to say, I remember when I told you I was talking to Jenny Argater. Guess who I'm talking to? You're talking to Jenny Argater now? Oh my God, that is so cool. Tell her I said hi. Jenny, I loved you in Walkabout and in Michael York. Don't anyone dare tell me. Logan's Run. I love doing Logan's Run. And those are the biggies. So hello to you. And if anyone else wants to mention a Jenny Argater movie, please feel free. And Emily Miller says, I thought up the Scooby-Doo Supernatural crossover, Bob. Oh, you thought that up? Well, I thought it was a brilliant idea. I love crossovers. Kenny Wilkinson is saying hello to Keith. Gary Cameron says, to Javen, it's bursting. Thank you. It's bursting with hope. And bursting with love, and just bursting. Cindy says hi to Pod Blast. A lot of people saying hi to Pod Blast. Yeah, Liz says, Tug, stay out of the big house. and Lance James says, okay, Gary, thanks, my bad. And Sean says, Nicoletta Goulet. Nicoletta Goulet. Her father was well-known Robert Goulet. When I read Goulet, I think I read it Goulet, first of all, because I'm a Yank. When I saw Goulet, it should have occurred to me it was Robert Goulet's relation. And Keith says, hello, Kenneth. Congratulations on the move. Making 1 billion with a B. And Tracy says, I loved Richard Crenna in Our Miss Brooks. He was in Our Miss. I have to watch Our Miss Brooks again. Wow, I did not realize he was in Our Miss Brooks. That's crazy. And Pat says, no Bigfoot politics allowed. As the book says, Fredkin always blamed the failure of the sorcerer on the decline of his career. Really? I did not know that. Oh, and I just jumped again. I'm going to have to kind of skip a little here. Here we go. Gary Cameron says, Tracy, he was on I Love Lucy. I didn't know that either. And Tracy said, I saw him too. A lot of people saying hi to Pod Blast. Keith says, did Elvis shoot the TV when Robert Goulet came on? There's a bell ring in my head. Pod Blast says, Golden Rage of TV, Bigfoot versus the Hulk. That'd have been a fight. Pat says, Dan started it. Bob Blast says, It was a radio buddy I was on the phone with. So you're actually doing an interview. That's actually cool squared. And certainly if you're doing a podcast with somebody or a radio interview or anything really cool like that, don't let me interrupt you. And Emily says my Facebook page is full of my political and religious opinions. That's cool. That's Facebook. I haven't been the rules on Facebook as well. Zubelik says message retracted. Gary Cameron says, does anyone know if the cast of Bigfoot and Wild Boy are still around? Some of them are. Most have passed on, and at least one has fallen off the face of the earth. You can't find anything about him. Owen City says, you're welcome, Thrash. Thanks again. And Pat says, and the French Connection, right? Yes, he also did direct the French Connection and To Live and Die in L.A. We were talking about that, too, because I had a crush on Darlene Flugel, who was one of the characters in To Live and Die in L.A., which I have to watch again now. Between Ferdkin's death and just talking about it, I have to rewatch it. It says, beware of Robert Goulet and an open refrigerator. Beware of Robert Goulet and an open refrigerator. Just walk away, Goulet. You won't see me open the refrigerator door. Nothing? How about the Groovy Goulets? I don't have to impress you people. And Lance Javen says, Cindy, how was the burgers? I already ate tonight too, and I want burgers now. Thank you very much. Sydney says, I hate to say it, but I liked Super Train. What was wrong with Super Train? Super Train was slick. I preferred Soul Train, but Super Train was slick. Pablo says, hey, Tracy. Dublik says, American Werewolf in London. How could I have forgotten she started American Werewolf in London? And, Zublik is still cooking, but LOL just started. Never rush a good burger. Emily says, I brought it up, not thought it up. Brought it up, thought it up. Was I brought up here and a thought up there? Here about there, a thought everywhere or whatnot? Danny says, California gotten so bad, even the Bigfoots are moving south. Dude, that's two. Play nice. Zublik says, tell Jenny we still love her. Yes, we still do. We never stopped. I went out and I read Walkabout actually because I love the movie she was in. I did. You can tell her that. I saw the movie first, and then I went out because if I usually watch a movie first, but if I like the movie, I then go out and read the book. But I thought she was great. In some ways, I think the movie was a little better than the book, but I haven't read either one or seen either one, and sometimes I will have to refer judgment. And I'm very behind again, so I'm going to try to catch up. Oh, here it is, still love her. And Tracer says, don't forget to like button. I'm going to have to skim because some people just joined us. Len says, I got your number. Jenny, I got your number, 8675309. Form is content is here. It says, hey, all. Form is content says, hi, Thrash, and all. Form is content. It's so great that you are here. Welcome to the party, and I'm so glad I didn't crash my show. When I put my hand down, I accidentally hit the keyboard. But it then occurred to me that it was the PC, not my laptop. Shana says the movie did feature a fairly well-known character actor, Frank Adonis. He was a kidnapper and Ace Ventura in the famous "Am I a Clown? Do I Amuse You?" scene in Goodfellas. I think I think I know the dude. I think I know the dude. A lot of people saying hi to Form. Alternate Show Beginnings is here. Alternate Show Beginnings. So great you could be here. It says, hey, Thrash, watching you on my Kevin Scott 76 channel, but writing you on my Alternate Show Beginnings channel. In any event, Kevin, thank you so much for joining us. And please watch and comment as you see fit. It's so good to see you. Thank you very much. Gary Cameron says, I will, but I've got another star that I'm talking to. Hint, Indiana Solo or Hans Jones. Okay, if you actually have Harrison Ford on the phone right now and you're going to play games, that is not cool. Okay. I've only been a fan of the guy for something approaching 50 years. So please tell him I said hi as well. You lucky bastard. Now, and great song, Lance. Yes, it certainly was. And Tug says, I don't put opinions on Facebook, just memes. Probably the best way to go. Between you and meme. Between you and meme. Forms continues saying hi to Lance and Zuper. Keith E says Bigfoot stopped here in Tennessee and asked me if I had directions to Danny's house in South Carolina. So he says, I will, Lance, LOL, come and get me. Come and get him. And me. Zubik says, you mean Harrison Ford himself? That's kind of what we're all leaning towards. Emily says, Tug, once you reach my age, you just don't give a... Pablo says, Exorcist is not my favorite movie. A lot of people never cared for it. But you have to admit, it's sort of a very influential horror film. So he says, sorry, I'm not DoorDash, LOL Lance. Pablo says, too bad about the director, though. Yes, it's very sad. And Daryl Johnson asks, why is that? I'm not sure. And and Johnny says to Pod bless me too. He then jumped off the screen, so I'm just going to scroll back. in the hopes of finding that comment because I'm gonna have to scroll through these in a second once I get to the last one. Sean said because oh yeah, here it is. Frank Adonis was also in the scene with Christopher Walken and Dennis Hopper in True Romance. Yeah, he usually played a gangster, if he's the actor I'm thinking of. And Tug says I prefer to be a bystander than an instigator to M. So he says, boy, T-Pons is really backed up again. Yes, I'm going to try to through. Pablo says, I was an Omen man myself. That was also a good horror movie. Emily asks what Pablo has against Exorcist. Gary Carpenter says, bingo. Tracy says, I am hungry too, but I don't know what I want. I'm trying to lose weight. So if anybody could give me any suggestions, they're healthy. I'm the wrong person to ask advice from, in at least in this case. I'm gonna scroll down real fast. Pablo says, I don't like evil movies like Rosemary's Baby, just not my bag. Tug says, the Omen had better sequels, but that's not saying much. Emily says the Omen was great too. Just love horror associated with demons. Emily says, Gang Gary is in touch with Harrison Ford himself. That is crazy, and I'm silly jealous. What do you mean? Says hello, everybody. Sorry I'm late. Sorry for last night. I had an emergency. Everything's okay. Thank God everything's okay. Didn't know you had an emergency, but I'm glad you could make it. Pat says, gotta run, dear friends. Too much Bigfoot politics. Seriously, folks, everybody stay safe. Back east, Pat, so glad you could make it. Thank you for stopping by. Much love. Oh, and by the way, Danny, links to both Pat and to Wajameen, please. Tom the Hunger Jerk is here. He says, I'm listening, which means he's working tonight. So glad that you could make it. Oh, Jay-Z is here. Says, reverse cowgirl the like. How about we just hit the like? Hit the like, Jay-Z. We'll just go with that. A lot of people saying hello to everybody. Cindy D says, cooking. I can't type either. Danny's dropping links. Thank you very much. Pablo says, pretty TV actress Sharon Farrell died too back in May, but it was reported yesterday. Is that what happened? Thank you. Yeah, Sharon Farrell, who she was in one of my favorite holiday movies of all time, Night of the Comet. She played the mother. She's only in the opening sequence, but she was great. She's also in a movie Spotlit by Mr. Sci-Fi. He did a post. I actually made reference to it on my channel. I did a retrospect on it. It's called LA 2017, a post-apocalyptic made-for-TV film directed by Steven Spielberg. She was in that as well. But I didn't realize she died back in May, but apparently I just heard about it today. I thought she just died today too. Podblast, thank you very much for updating my info, and rest in peace, Miss Farrell. I'm going to skim down because I'm thinking I'm almost caught up. Pablo says Sharon Farrell named her son Chance, which is my first name. She's not your mom, is she? And let's see what else we get going on here. Joel Johnson says hi to Jay-Z. Jay-Z is saying hi to Lance. A lot of people saying hello to one another. Excellent. And Miller says Gonzo didn't start long enough. Didn't stay. I'm guessing didn't stay long enough for everyone to say hi. Sometimes he just bops in and bops out. But yes, Gonzo was here, and his presence was very appreciated. Liz Jevons says Omen is Nemo backwards. Yes, it is. And if you add a D to it, it's an anagram for demon. Gary Carpenter says, I watched PBS Sesame Street, Electric Company, and Mr. Rogers. Oh, I did too in my youth. Pablo's like, reverse cowgirl, wow. And Tracy's laughing. Daryl John says that puts a new star slant on Finding Nemo. Yes, it does, doesn't it? And Tracy says Sharon Farrell wasn't young in The Restless as well. I'm guessing You're saying, wasn't she in Young and the Restless? I'm guessing. I'm just going to extrapolate. And let's see, Wajibin says, oh, wow, Lance never thought of that. And CDD says, she was in Can't Buy Me Love with Patrick Dempsey. She was. In fact, if you check, pardon me, if you check out her page, she actually had a really, really impressive career. She was on tons of TV shows. She was had supporting parts in many, many movies. She had a very impressive career. And Lance Chafin says, Cindy loved that movie. JC says, why couldn't Jenny Piccolo find a date? She was a baddie. Jenny Piccolo from uh, Happy Days. I thought she could find a date, but we could be referring to different episodes. Texas, Sharon Farrell isn't related to Terry Farrell, was she? Not to my knowledge. Not to my knowledge. Not that I know of. And I'm actually caught up. Wonders never cease. Which is good because I'm probably going to keep it to an hour tonight. And I don't want to snub large, vast tracks of people. Again, these Monday night shows are more just a way to hang out for a little bit, have some fun, swap a few jokes, and remember, Ian will one day come back to do these Monday night shows, and we will bring you all the great entertainment we always have been. But I don't want the slots to fall out of favor. And Emily says, what about Mike Farrell? My understanding is no relation to him either. JG says NFL preseason pick for Super Bowl winner. You know I have to say the Patriots. I probably don't mean it, but you know I have to say it. And Lance Chapin says, why couldn't the burger go home? He was in a meeting. Oh. Okay, all right. The other day, I met an alien from a planet where everything was even. He said to me, what are the odds? And I know I said that last night too, but a lot of you weren't here last night. Joe Jones says, how about Colin Farrell? There are a lot of people named Farrell, apparently. John says, or Perry Farrell? I got nothing. Could be, but I honestly don't know. How about Farrell to Arms? And Emily says, Jay-Z, Carolina Panthers, of course, keep pounding. Vitamin says, LOL, Thrash. Daryl John says, I hear crickets. Is the Buddy Holly tribute band in town? Sorry. Alternate show beginning says, I always went for the sci-fi shows after school. Star Trek, Battlestar Galactica, Logan's Run, Arc 2, Planet of the Apes, etc. Arc 2 actually is another one of those shows that either you remember it or you don't. I loved Arc 2. I thought it was great. But a lot of people don't even remember it. Sydney says, where is Ian C? Ian C is actually, as you know, he's recently remarried. And I think he's just putting a lot of effort into creating a new household. He's taking a brief sabbatical. And when he comes back, we'll be ready for him. I'm sort of keeping the home fires burning as it is. But he is doing well as far as I know. I haven't talked to him in some time. Zubik says, the Chiefs? I don't think so. Mr. Wilkinson says, who did Sharon Farrell play? Tracy. I watched The Young and the Restless. I'm not sure, so I can't answer that. Daryl John says, no, it was your joke. Yes, I know you were slamming my joke. It was terrible. Thank you, Daryl. But when you mentioned crickets, that was the best comeback I could think of. It was a comeback to your comeback. But thank you for reiterating that my joke was bad. This is saying hello to alternatives. And D says, I do too love that movie too, Lance. Pablo says, after school was. JD says, why weren't there any female Sleestacks? Who says there weren't? Would you be able to tell a male from a female Sleestack? Maybe they were all females. Like, did you ever read Harry Harrison's East of Eden? Or Winter in Eden? Or West of Eden? Or New Eden? Or Return to Eden? There's a Dino sapien that evolves, and it's a matriarchal civilization, but humans can't really tell. But instead of being run by the cavemen, all being run in patriarchal circles. Yeah, but the Dino sapiens are all matriarchal circles. So yeah, probably couldn't tell, could you? Denny said I met Mike Farrell from MASH back in the '80s. That's very cool. Daryl Johnson says that was kind of mean of me, wasn't it? I'm sorry, Bob. No, no, don't. If my jokes are terrible, half the fun is making fun of them. So please do, please do. Um, and Tracy says Flo, Nina's mother on Young and Restless. Oh, she played the mother on Young and Restless. Arc 2 Arc 2 Gesundheit. I get it, I get it, I get it. Alternate says, Kevin says, who remembers Earth 2? I do. I remember Earth 2. That had Clancy Brown in it, if I remember correctly. And Emily says, Jay, what makes you think there weren't? Oh, there we go again. And Podbless says, after school 1981 was Space Giants, Speed Racer, and Flintstones, WTBS Superstation for 17 for me. Oh, Turtle Eugene Bellinger is here. He says, good evening, Thrash. Good evening, Teb. Unfortunately, we're just wrapping things up here. We'll be on for probably about another 10 minutes or so, but I'm so glad you could make it. Daryl Jones says, I don't think Shelley Fabrez was on MASH. Ooh. I think she had a recurring character as a nurse. Maybe did 5 or 6 episodes. But I could be wrong about that. So there's the bell ringing in my head. Oh, Gary Cameron says to Pod Blast, I've never seen Zone Fighter or Spectreman. I don't think I have either. Let's just see. Kevin says The Power of Naomi Alderman was a sci-fi book about a matriarchal society. There have been a lot of them, actually. They're usually pretty good. Formus Content says, Pod Blast, we watched a lot of WTBS back then. Bill Tush especially. And Daryl Johnson says, that's Mike Farrell's wife. Was Shelley Fabre on MASH? She played a nurse for a few episodes. Yeah. Oh yeah, Mrs. Thrash, who is the leading expert on the planet. She's laughing, but she is leading expert on the planet on MASH. Actually, officially says Shelley Fabrez was on MASH, and I will take that to the bank, whether I believe it or not. In any event, Keith says anything is possible at this point in my life. I deal with memory fragments. I know. Somebody asked me about 1989 the other day, and I said there's a lot I don't remember about 1989. And let's see. Emily says Mike's first wife was in MASH, not Shelley. Oh. Everyone's saying hello, Mrs. Thrash. She says howdy. And Indy Spots, thank God you're here, Indy Spots. Indy Spots is here and says Shelley Fabre was not in MASH. The bank is closed. Okay, Indy, I'm gonna have to back out on this one. I've learned to not side against you, but ixnay on the ashmay. So. And on that note, Emily says, I don't remember Superplex. Formus Content is here and says, Indy, by the way, while we're both here, while I'm thinking of it, do you remember we were talking yesterday about the 1985 episode of The Twilight Zone, Grandma, the collaboration between Harlan Ellison and the other guy. Who's that sci-fi horror writer you hate? Stephen King. One of the things I know when I was watching it, if you watch the scenes where the adults are, you can't see them, but you hear them arguing in the background, one of the voices I'd be willing to swear is Harlan Ellison himself. Oh my God, Mr. Lettuce here says, hey, Thrash, just in from cutting grass in time to hear you say you're wrapping up. So Goodbye. Catch you in the next one. Mr. Led, I'm so glad. I am so glad you could make it, by the way. Thank you. Sorry you made it towards the end, but hey, it was nice to see you as we did. Former contenders here says Nintendo's Bob Blast. He always seemed like a cool guy. A lot of people saying hi to Mr. Led. Uh, Gary Garber says Chili Febreze was friends with Annette Funicello and Frankie Avalon. I believe that. And a lot of people saying hi to Mr. Led. Yeah, again, Mr. Led, so glad to see you again. And Pablo says, did you like the wrestling on WTBS Superstation 1917? Zublik says 1989 was the year of the fall of the Berlin Wall. That I remember, at least. How, as a history major, could you forget that? I said there were gaps. I didn't say I forgot the fall of the Berlin Wall. Ew, pedantic much. And Indy Spout said Stephen King. Yes, I knew that. But I was so busy pontificating. I had a brief wire crossing. But you notice my wife knew exactly who I was talking about. Trace says, we love you, Mrs. Thrush. Tim says, which of the 90s sketch comedy shows do you prefer so much better? Was it The Kids in the Hall, Living Color, Ben Stiller Show, The State, all that, or Mad TV? Love Living Color. The Ben Stiller Show is actually one of those shows that was very, very short-lived that I really loved, and a lot of people don't remember. My wife actually bought me all the episodes in a box set. I saw Kids in the Hall actually live in Boston once. They put on a great show. I like Mad TV. I don't remember much about all that, but I did like The State. And I'm just going to skip down. Tracy has his message retracted. Former Skin says, Nostalgic Podcast. I'm sure we watch some of the wrestling. I used to watch local wrestling every week. Well, Zublik says, not pedantic. 1981 was as historic as 1945, the end of the Cold War, for heaven's sake. Again, I do remember the Berlin Wall coming down. I remember David Hasselhoff singing at it. I went to many wall coming down parties. That's probably why I don't remember much of what happened after it. But I do remember the wall coming down. And there were other parts of there were other things that happened in 1990 as well. And Daryl Jones says, don't see Shelley Febreze listed on Mesh. Yes, I'm afraid I'm going to have to rule against Mrs. Thrash on this one. Thank you, Wendy Spouts. We all knew this was coming. And Denny says, when you watch the wrestling clips from 70s and 80s TBS 6.05 NWA Wrestling, the click with the long black, I'm guessing that's the chick with the long black hair taking pictures was my mom. That's very cool. And rest in peace, Mrs. Staten. Yeah, wasn't that how you got your job at wrestling venues when you were a kid, by the way? Or was that because your grandfather was the chief of police? Either way, you were well connected, weren't you? I bet that came in handy a lot when you were a kid. Pablo says Shelley Fabre was on One Day at a Time as a very annoying character. Yes, I believe she played a co-worker to Mrs. Romano when they're ad agency. Tracy says, I saw Kids in the Hall too. That's very cool. We have very similar tastes in comedy and sci-fi. Mr. Lynn says, Joan Collins' latest husband is only about 40, I think. Well, you go, girl. And Cindy says, One Day at a Time too, Lance. Adele John says she was in the movie The Bad Seed in 1956. Well, that's going back. And Keith, he says, if Neutron John is watching, I'll see Yogurt and ask him to please come back. Yeah, John, if you're still watching, please come back to the comment section. We all miss you, bro. Thank you. And Zubik says, in Czechoslovakia, they say 1989 was 1968 turned upside down. Well, part of it. 1968 was the very memorable year for the Czechs. Yes, when they were filming Bridget Remagen, in Czechoslovakia. They had to shut down production because the Soviets marched in. They had to gather up all their equipment and hightail it back to West Germany rather than get detained by Soviet forces. True story. The book says I already read that one. Indie Spot says Barrett Oliver from Daryl was a grandma. Oh, I'm going to start again. Barrett Oliver from Daryl was in Grandma Thrash. I really liked Daryl. You could be right about Ellison, but he doesn't have the IMDb or wiki credit for it. So we'll just say you are correct. Thank you. Thank you. He had a very distinct, gravelly voice. And when you listen, because it's basically the mother arguing with her brothers and sisters about what to do with Grandma. And again, I would have sworn. But thank you for yielding. Very, very kind of you. And Tracy says David Hasselhoff's nickname at my college was Man 100 Proof. Remember that scene of him eating the Wendy's cheeseburger on the floor of the utility room? I have so been there. And let's just see. I'm gonna skip down. Daryl likes the bad seed. Oh, and Eleanor says, "Oh wait, y'all are talking about Shelly as Anne's boss. Oh, I'm so sorry." And Podbless says Shelly Fabre was also on One Day at a Time as Mrs. Anne Romano's reluctant business partner at the ad agency. I knew it. I knew it. Oh, and Danny's giving us another link. Oh, and Zubilik says, "LOL, Keith. Now you are banned from visiting Bratislava." I hope that's not true. In any case, folks, we have hit the official hour mark. It has been real. It has been fun. It has been real fun. I actually love these little chats we get to do. You guys were so interactive tonight. I actually lost my place about 3 or 4 times, but I managed to catch up. That being said, if I missed anybody's comment, please, please, please forgive me. Oh, and also shout outs to all the people who were in watching the show, but not in the comment section with us in spirit. And of course, shout outs to House of Alex, to, Cindy and Lisa were here today, but Music Girl 67 wasn't, to Karen Lee Maloney, to Dominic D, to a lot of you folks who couldn't make it tonight. You are always missed. Anyway, I want to say thanks again. You guys are great. You guys really made the show possible. And again, there will be a regular show next week. That is to say, it's going to be at 7:30 my regular time. But until then, be good, be safe, be careful. And I'm looking forward to see you all again very, 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 very soon. Peace.